New Guitar Day is an amazing day for all of us guitar players, but have you ever made that purchase where you get the guitar, you open the box and you're like, what the hell have I done? Where's my money gone? Well, this was a regret purchase, but it turned out to be anyways. So you'll see the the logo on the headstock. Yeah, this isn't a Gibson. This is a Chibson. I bought a Chibson. I went down the dark side. Now, I'm not going to rag on Chinese guitar manufacturers because you know what? I have some Chinese guitars which are absolutely freaking amazing. I'm talking kind of, you know, John Suhr level awesomeness. Like my Kaipro, which I picked up from Music China just a few weeks ago. It's an amazing guitar. This, when it turned up, was a piece of crap. I'm not going to mince my words on this video. I'd basically seen it on eBay and it looked great. You know, the top was all relic and stuff. I'm into relic guitars and stuff, and it was gold top and stuff. And it just caught my attention, and you know, the listing said that it'd been built to high spec. Spot the village idiot here. I'll admit to that one. I'll totally own that one with this guitar purchase. Anyways, the listing said it was built to high spec, good pickups, PAF style pickups, and etc, etc, and it can be customized and blah blah, etc. So I set about to contact the person, and it was a company called RBD Guitars or RDB Guitars on eBay. They're not around anymore, so I have no issue with actually calling these people out. A guy named Ryan, I'd messaged him and asked him some questions about modifications and stuff. He said, yeah, can do everything. You know, I wanted stainless steel frets. Didn't get stainless steel frets. Wanted the logo changed because I didn't want it to say Gibson, and they did actually do that initially, but I'll explain what happened a little later in the video, so bear with me. But before I carry on, if you haven't done so already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification if you enjoy videos like this. Huge shout out to all of the subscribers and also my YouTube membership and Patreon supporters as well. It is so much appreciated, and now you can actually join my Patreon for free and check out some free posts on there as well, because I'm using that as my social media platform, so you can get all the updates as to what I'm up to from there. So please do head over to Patreon, sign up for free and enjoy. So there's a lot to tell you about what I did to this guitar to make it play and sound freaking amazing. So you might want to grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a beer, a soda, whatever. Whatever's your poison. But anyways, I had to do a lot of work to this guitar to get it to the stage where it was the guitar that I wanted it to be. Now, I have the skills to do it. I build guitars for a living as well. I have a workshop and I have tools, etc, etc. I know how to figure things out. So I was able to do it, but I can imagine people getting something like this and being so incredibly disappointed with their purchase, and understandably, because you know what, as guitar players, we want to get a piece of gear which we take out of the box, we plug it in, and you know, we're happy with like playing it, and there's a sound from it, and it plays well, and it feels good, and you know, we feel good as a result of that, right? We get the endorphin rush. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. But I opened the box and honestly, I was kind of like, oh geez, I knew there were problems straight away. So how much did I pay for it? First of all, from RBD Guitars or whatever they're called, 500 bucks. Yeah. Now, the reason I did that was because the feedback on eBay was from a bunch of people from the USA and Europe and stuff like that, saying guitar was really beautiful, it played really well, played straight out of the box, needed a little bit of a setup, but that's okay. The fretwork was fantastic, etc, etc. So that kind of gave me some confidence in it. Fake reviews? I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'm not going to cast any aspersions on, you know, whoever left the reviews. Maybe they got really good guitars. I didn't. Just in case I haven't reminded you several times already, I got a piece of crap. So yeah, 500 bucks. So it turned up and there were multiple issues with it. The biggest issue with it was that the frets were not level, so it was unplayable. Literally, there was buzzing, there was choking out on various frets, etc. So that's one of the jobs I had to do first of all. I had to level all the frets, recrown them, polish them to get it just playing and stuff. And some of the modifications that I had specified were the fretboard to have stainless steel frets on them. Glad they didn't put stainless steel frets on them, because you know what, if they were stainless steel frets, leveling the fretboard would have just been a lot harder. Also wanted quite a thin neck, and it's not a chunky neck, it's not a 59 neck or anything like that, but still got a little bit of meat to it, and it's a comfortable neck, but I would have preferred it to be a little bit thinner. So the other mods that I had requested was a little less relicking on the body, because I didn't want this in between the pickups and stuff. I preferred it to be just gold top with the checkering and stuff like that. And there were a couple of other things which I don't remember. I wanted some relicking on the back as well, which I subsequently did. Now, must admit, relicking a guitar is fun because you get to kind of grab heavy tools and like blades and stuff like that and do shit like this to a guitar, which you don't get to do every day. So I actually did all the sides and stuff. But anyways, they were supposed to do this. I'd specified relicking like this, and also a little bit on the neck as well. Didn't do it. Wasn't done at all. The other thing was the logo. I wanted it to say Jason instead of Gibson. Jason, because my name is Jay. Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Jay. I'm the village idiot who bought this guitar. Anyways, I wanted it to say Jason, and they actually did do it, but rather than doing a decal on it, they hand painted it, and the hand painting was a bit yeah. And I had planned to replace that with a water slide decal, which I actually custom ordered. But how this came about was that I went to do that work a couple of days ago. So I started sanding it down and the logo came off, but there was a little bit of color underneath. I thought it was just like, primer or something like that. So I started rubbing. And then the Gibson logo started to come out. All they had done was painted over the Gibson logo and then painted a logo on top. Yeah. The reason they had to do that was because this logo's inlaid into it. I don't know if it's a fake pearl or it's a real pearl or whatever it is, but it's solid. You can't just rub it off, so I had to leave it for the time being. I'll do something with it at some point. The other thing that I wanted was here, rather than say Les Paul, I wanted it to say Jay's Paul. Because when you look closely, and I'll give you a close-up of that, it actually kind of looks like Les Paul. Just a neat little thing that I wanted to do, just to personalize the guitar, because this is my guitar, and this wasn't a Gibson. It was never meant to be a Gibson, and I was totally cool with that. I was totally comfortable with that. All right, so what I did was I got back to the seller and I said, look, there are multiple issues. I'm not happy with the guitar and stuff. And they offered a $100 refund, which I did take eventually. But hindsight's a beautiful thing. And when I thought back to it, there was a line in the listing which said, if you have any issues or problems with the guitar, please do get back to us, and we can usually arrange a partial refund. That should have been a big red flag. They did give a partial refund. I would have wanted about $300 back, but you know what? I just took a pragmatic view of, it's a good piece of wood. The guitar's actually quite resonant. It's not very heavy. It's probably about 7.5 pounds, maybe coming up to 8 pounds. So not a very heavy piece of wood. I imagine it's chambered. It is mahogany, and it seems to be a nice piece of mahogany. Seems to be a single piece as well. Maple cap on the top. And the finish on here seems to be a polyurethane or polyester finish. And I noticed that because I was trying to scrape away the paint and the lacquer in order to expose the wood. Firstly, the paint is extremely thick on this, and then it came out very, very gloopy, kind of like, just sheets of plastic, like scraping like a blade on a piece of plastic. You get those ribbons coming out. Nitrocellulose lacquer, which is what I prefer, doesn't come out like that. It basically sands down really nicely, and it also scrapes off very, very, very easily. So I imagine this is a poly finish, which kind of got me scratching my head because it's got all this checkering on it. And I don't know how they did that, because usually with nitrocellulose lacquer, you can heat it up and then quickly hit it with like a can of compressed air, and it cools it down very quickly and the checkering starts to happen. So that's a way to kind of like relic a finish on a guitar. Maybe they put like a thin layer of nitrocellulose lacquer on top of the polyurethane, and then basically did what I just described, you know, heating it up and then cooling it down to create the checkering. Maybe that's how they did it. I noticed that on the headstock as well. When I wanted to do the logo, started scraping away, and those ribbons, those plastic ribbons, started to come off. Again, up here it is checkered as well. Maybe they put a little bit of nitrocellulose on top in order to create the checkering. So let me tell you how much it actually cost to make this the guitar that I wanted. Now this is a cautionary tale, so if any of you are thinking about buying an eBay Chibson, just bear this in mind, because sometimes you might get an absolutely wonderful guitar, right? Sometimes you might get one of these which needs a lot of work. So I'll tell you how much everything cost, and then I'll give you the total. So I pretty much replaced everything on here, apart from like the strap buttons. They're still the original ones, I think. So first thing I did was knobs and also the pots. I wanted to upgrade to CTS pots. The pots inside were okay, but you know, better pots transfer sound better to the jack. I replaced the jack as well. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting maximum tone out of the guitar. So all of this stuff probably cost me about 50 bucks in parts for the relict knobs, the CTS parts, 4 of them obviously, and also the jack as well. Then moving up to the bridge. The bridge is now a Goto bridge. It's an aluminum bridge or aluminium, depending on which side of the water you're on, and that cost me about 100 bucks for the stop tail and also the adjustable bridge as well. The reason I wanted to change that was the other bridge wasn't as adjustable, so I couldn't get the intonation quite right. So I got something with a little bit more travel so that I could intonate the guitar a little bit better. Then coming on to the pickups. This is where it gets fun. So I have an Arcane Mr. Scary in the bridge, which I already had. You know, I've got a stash of pickups, so I could always kind of just go and get a pair of pickups which would fit into here. So it didn't actually cost me anything to buy them, but if I was paying for them, then it would have cost me. So Arcane Mr. Scary in the bridge, and there's a Wilkinson pickup in the neck. So probably together would have cost around $250 odd for the pickups. Now I know this is a taste thing, and you're probably saying, well, why didn't you just keep the stock pickups? Let me show you. So I took the stock pickups off the guitar, and as soon as I took them off the guitar, I was like, yeah, how comes they're quite light? How comes they're this light? So I decided to take the nickel cover off and have a look at this. I'll give you some close-ups of this. Right, I'm going to compare this to some really good pickups, right? So here's a Seymour Duncan. Yeah, this is a 59. All right, and also a bare knuckle pickup. A Wilkinson pickup, which is actually very similar to this one, right? And now this one, a close-up of this. Can you see that? Only half the bobbin is wound. They actually skimped on winding the pickup properly. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at this, I was like, what? To explain why this is so light, even the magnet is like tiny on here. It's so light. It's, you know, my other pickups are probably, you know, at least a third heavier than this. Crazy, just junk pickups. So they needed to go. They had to be done. The switch stayed, yay! The switch was working fine, so that stayed. Obviously, I've explained about the fretboard. I had to level it. Now, in order to do that, I actually bought a fret leveling beam. and sandpaper to do it. I think it cost me about 50 odd bucks for the parts. And then I needed sandpaper to polish the frets and a fret leveler as well. So if I totted up all of the parts, it would probably come to about $100 odd worth of tools that I needed in order to do the work. Now, if you got this done from somebody, probably maybe about 200 bucks to do the work. So I'm just going to put it at 200 bucks to sort out the fretboard. Now, I polished the frets really well. I basically had to level the frets, recrown them with a recrowning tool file, and then polish the frets with sandpaper, which was basically 2000 to 10,000 grit. Make them nice and smooth so I could play them, and sustain was good, and bending, etc. is easy and stuff. So 200 bucks for that. Then the nut needed replacing. There was a plastic nut on here which was horrible. It was an awful piece of just horrible junk. So I put a tusk nut on here. That was about 15 odd bucks to purchase. Then coming onto the headstock. So I actually wanted to put locking tuners on here, and I got quite lucky because on Reverb I found these very, very cool Goto Clues-on style tuners for about 60 bucks. And so I bought those. They were an option. You know, the other tuners were okay again, but not great. So they would have needed replacing at some stage. And then the logo on the headstock, it cost me about 25 bucks to have a custom logo done, which I haven't put on there at the moment because when I scraped it down, basically that's inlaid. It's like a pearloid material or pearl, whatever it is. You know, I don't know if it's real mother of pearl. Pretty much doubt it, but who knows. But when I scraped it, it felt like mother of pearl, so maybe it is. You know, so I left the Gibson logo on there, but it did cost me. Now, if you were to take this to somebody to do the rest of the work, probably cost another about 200 odd bucks to do. I did it all myself, so there wasn't any labor cost in it. But when I actually totaled all of this up, you ready for this? Probably comes to about 900 bucks. Yeah. Crazy, right? There was a lot of work to do to this in order to get it right. Get it basically fixed. All right, 900 bucks. Add to that the 400 bucks which I paid for the guitar. All right, and obviously I did get the parts and stuff. It's a resonant piece of wood, etc., etc. All fine. That makes about $1,300 odd. Now, if I go to Reverb and look for used Les Pauls, I can get like a Les Paul Studio or something like that, or a standard, a used one, for around 1,300 bucks. So what am I doing? Playing this one. Why did I buy this? I don't know, the relic job, etc., etc. And you know, it was my own mistake in actually just being seduced by the photos of this and the idea that this could, you know, be sent to me as an absolutely phenomenal guitar. Like I said, I'm not going to rag on Chinese guitar builders because I was at Music China a few weeks ago and the builders there are absolutely amazing. They can build incredibly good guitars, you know, John Suhr level guitars. You know, my Kai Pro is that level to me. You know, it is incredibly good. It's beautiful guitar, the finishing on it, fretboard, all the parts, very, very high end. But this is probably like $100 guitar or $150 guitar, right, in China. But because there was a middleman in it, that's why the price was inflated and stuff. And that's the cautionary tale. Be really, really careful if you're buying like a Chibson, because you might end up with a lemon like I did and having to do a ton of work. And I know people who have bought Chibsons and they basically do nothing with them because it would just cost too much in order to actually have them completely fixed. Like I said, I totaled it up to about 900 bucks worth of work that was necessary in order to get this to this level. Now, it's a fantastic guitar now. I do love playing it. I love the look of it as well. And hey, I fell in love with it again because hey, I got to do all the work to it. I got to bash it around. Yeah, do all this relicking. That is so much fun, and I never worry about, you know, getting scrapes and bumps, because it's already scraped and bumped quite a lot. The pickups made it sound fantastic. They work really well in this guitar. Really like the sound of it. It's got this real gnarly tone to it. And I plugged this basically into my Plexi, my 69 Plexi 50 watt, which is a custom build. If you want to go and see the build of that, I'll leave a link somewhere up here so that you can go and check it out. And it just sounded heavenly through that. And I got to do that track, which was awesome. But honestly, this is the worst guitar I have ever purchased in all my life. And I kid you not, it was a horrible piece of rubbish when it arrived. It's a really great guitar now, but hey, it took me a lot of time, some money as well, in order to get it to this stage. So there you go, guys and girls. That's my Chibson. That's my Chibson story. That's my Chibson horror story. I should have done this on Halloween, shouldn't I? Because it's a horror story. Yeah. So take what you will from that. I would love to hear from you if you have had a Chibson experience as well. So leave a comment in the comments box below and let me know. All right, time for the track, because I really loved doing that track. It's a song which I wrote actually many moons ago, probably around like 17, 18 years ago, but I just never got around to actually recording the full thing. Well, I did, but it was an old version. There is a version kind of bouncing around somewhere with vocals, which is on my hard drive somewhere, but I wanted to do an instrumental version. I changed things up a little bit and made it sound really cool. Alrighty, guys and girls, if you haven't done so already, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when new videos are going to be coming out. Please do also give it a thumbs up. It is so much appreciated. And have a fantastic day, and don't go and buy one of these today. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me. Don't do it. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Here's the track. Enjoy. See you later. Bye.